Alright, so I highly doubt that anyone really saw my teaser images, but I mean, the Luffy eye with my character set on it was probably very obvious. I am doing a review of One Piece. I finally decided to start watching it a while ago, but Shirohana, you still haven't finished Naruto, and you started watching that in middle school. What makes you think you have a chance at catching up while it's being updated as you watch it? Well, I'm watching one episode every single day. There were some exceptions early on. The exception started on day 4.
Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams.
And now this is obviously not going to be any sort of short series, as One Piece has reached 1,000 episodes. While I was writing this, actually, now I think it's close to 1,100. So that means I have some serious ground to cover. Here, I actually do have an avid One Piece fan that I asked to start watching the anime with me. He did start watching the anime when he first started One Piece, but then heard that it was better in the manga for his type of taste, so he has not seen most of the anime. I believe the last time that he had watched it was somewhere in the East Blue Saga. Including this, I decided it would be best that we watched the filler episodes, and the reason that he is actually here with me is because he is here mainly to remind me who characters are, because I forget names within 2 minutes after they leave the screen. Now, in these videos, I'll show any footage of us watching the show, and I'll be speaking on thoughts that I have, most of them positive. I feel like mainly I'm going to talk about really strong scenes that I liked, why I love characters, because I am a huge character fanatic. I love characters. If a show does not have good characters but it has amazing plot, I will hate the show. If you don't have good characters, I am out. So in basic, I'm really just doing a video essay on my thoughts here on One Piece, but I'm clickbaiting you, but not really, because I did actually try to watch at least one episode a day. So with that, let's start with the East Blue Saga. Now, I will warn everyone that I am horrible at coming up with short recaps of events, so there will probably be many portions of this that feel more like a retelling than it feels like an actual review. But don't worry about that. I'm just stupid and I probably need to get tested for ADHD. Now, I feel so strongly on this scene, so I will start with this and stop and not talk about the whole eye scar thing really quick. The scene of Luffy and Alvida meeting, which is the first character interaction we see Luffy have. It is amazing. It is character introduction gold. I love this interaction with all of my being. It does so good at actually introducing Luffy as a character and showing you the main points of his character and how he thinks that, you know, it's just gold. And let me explain why. Now, the main reason that I love this interaction is, I'll put this short and clear, while Kobe is an enemy and wants to become a marine and fight crime and pirates, Luffy wants to become the king of the pirates. Something that Luffy would, like any other person, would be like, okay, I'm not gonna support this guy's dream, let me gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss this person into not doing this. He's already a coward, it would be so easy to do so. And Luffy, instead of discouraging him, literally tells him, go about your dream, do what you want to do. And oh my god, it is perfect. It is exactly who Luffy is. If someone is passionate about something, no matter how stupid or against his own morals it is, other than like if you're doing something like criminal, he will support you. And as the person that I watched this along with and I joked about, if you give him like a piece of bread, if you give him a piece of bread and tell him, hey, this guy is like killing our people in this village, that he needs to go, Luffy will beat them up for you for a piece of bread because he heard your sob story and knows you need help. Honestly, he doesn't even need the piece of bread. If you just go up to Luffy saying, hey, this island is being oppressed, he will kill corruption itself. He will forget about being king of the pirates because 1, he likes adventure, and 2, which I think is the most important thing, he just likes people. He's just a people person. And the fact that we get this kind of character revelation, I guess, it's not an arc. We get this in episode 1. We learn this about Luffy in episode 1. This is just episode 1 out of 1,100 and going. And something I also realized is that this is a very similar occurrence in everything, but it also kind of foreshadows Nami's arc with Arlong Park, with her basically, in a weird way, kind of being a Kobe, but she agrees to it just so she can save the people of her village eventually. And then Luffy also kills Arlong in cold blood, just like he does with Alvida, so... I mean, we all knew this. Oda foreshadows all known to man. He is an all-knowing god. We must all worship Oda and his ability to foreshadow everything in his own series. And in real life, honestly. One thing that I feel a lot of people would hate is how, speaking of Nami, she appears before Luffy in the anime, which is an anime original occurrence apparently. And in my opinion, I like it. This show is filled. This anime is filled with huge coincidences and people coming in at the last minute to save people and stuff like that. So if this is something that you just don't like, is huge coincidences, then Nami being on this ship coincidentally that Luffy is also on, when it doesn't even matter, really. I mean, it shows you who Nami is, but it doesn't matter in the long run that she's here. If you don't like this, you're not gonna like the show. I'm sorry. It happens too often where people are just in the right place at the right time. I mean, divine intervention saves Luffy from death multiple times in the Logtown arc, so it's kind of a warning for you. Speaking on what I did with Nami and showing her character, I mainly just mean because in this boat scene, it shows how she really just leaves all these people to kind of die so she can infiltrate the pirate ship and get their treasure. When Luffy gets captured by the buggy crew, she actually helps him get out and like cares about him as a person. It really shows how she cares about Luffy. Whether we really get an explanation or not, it doesn't really matter. She just cares for Luffy more than she does other random ass people because Luffy is cool. He's a cool guy. How can you not see that face and just absolutely want to smack him but also feed him? Now, here's the only thing I'll say I really dislike about the whole East Blue Saga is that in terms of Zoro's flashback and his backstory, apparently in the manga, Zoro bawls his eyes out and cries during Kuina's funeral. And I feel like that should have been kept, but I mean, I know that the anime already has a weird thing for censorship where Zeth's leg can be semi-shown getting cut off, but Luffy's can't stab his eye for his own backstory, so he kind of just has a scar on his eye for some reason that we don't really know about. I don't think the anime has touched on it yet, and I am done with Alabasta. I am in Skypedia and they still haven't explained how his scar got there as far as I know. But then again, I do forget things in 2 minutes if it isn't outwardly explained to me, so I mean... Another thing I agree with is with Zeth for Sanji's backstory and how Zeth loses his leg by it getting cut off instead of him just being implied, heavily implied, canon, this is what happened, but he eats his leg. In the manga, and in the anime it just gets cut off while he's in the sea, which is alright, but it does show that Zeth, being a powerful pirate, he still needs to eat. Man needs to eat, and he tried to be strong for this little kid, and then ate his leg for something to help him survive, which is... It's powerful, and so is cutting off his leg at sea, but then he looks like an all-powerful being, not eating for I forgot how many days they were stranded on that rock island or whatever it is. Now, I'm gonna stop with the backstory talk and the stuff that I didn't like that was anime and manga original. I'm moving back to the chronological order of events. Zoro is fucking awesome. So the way he's such a badass, but he's still caring during his own arc is an amazing way to introduce his character. It's a very simple trope just to make an emotionalist badass, but Zoro is an emotional badass, and he's also funny. Like, just look at him. Look at him go. Look at him go on that vine. He's going. He's being a little goofy goober. And the way that he rejects food to keep his promise and his own punishment to the government, no matter how stupid it is, but then only eating it once the government not corrupts. The way that he eats it after the government humiliates the little girl, even though it's on the dirt and tells her, hey, it's good. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to show who Zoro is. He's a badass, but he has emotions. He still cares about people, and he also cares about pride. He cares about a lot of things, and he's not just an emotionless badass who's just a badass to be the badass. Now, I don't really have anything more to say about the whole corrupt Navy situation. L corrupt Navy, RIP, Captain Morgan, die, L plus ratio plus, he's not dead if I remember right, RIP. I now want to talk about the Arlong, the fight with Arlong. The scene of Luffy seeing the navigation room, because at this point we never really saw Luffy be serious before. This is the first time we see Luffy basically go, you are a bitch-ass motherfucker and I want to kick your ass. And him then destroying the navigation room because it was what was keeping Nami there because of that whole navigation area, and destroying the entirety of Arlong Park, and then happening to also kill Arlong in the same kick. Hell yeah. Storytelling, Oda, emotions. Fuck. Now, this is filler, but the arc with Buggy going on that island with the guy in the treasure chest that is hypothesized to possibly be Zoro's dad, also really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good separation to get a little bit of joy in the show, which I think is a thing I really like about the filler arcs. A lot of the filler arcs start out with a couple episodes of the characters just having a good time, chilling out, no fights. They're just being the Straw Hats with a couple other people usually. And seeing them interact, and they both talk about Luffy and have completely different opinions on them, but still agree with each other, accidentally not knowing they're talking about the same person. Stuff like this, always welcome. Filler arcs like this, always welcome. I always love a good filler arc that explains something that never is really explained, or a filler arc that just has some good character interaction and makes me like a character even more than I already did. Oh wait, did I mention that I really like Sanji? I didn't. I talked about Zeth in his arc, but I didn't talk about Sanji. I fucking love Sanji. Sanji is my favorite. I'm a Sanji simp. I'm sorry to break it to you. Sanji simp right here. If you see my Twitter and you saw that tweet with the 4 people that I like, I love antagonists. I love characters that have an antagonist role to a protagonist, but it's not like them being evil, they're just a rival. And you know, I also like Zoro, but like Sanji though, listen.
In other words,
AI covers are really doing a lot for me right now in my Sanji simpness. Please don't judge me. Sanji is great. Sanji... yeah. The differences from the manga and the Logtown are with Zoro meeting Tashigi in the streets instead of the sword shop. Pretty cool. I didn't have any complaints with it. It worked, and seeing him clean the navy base with his 3-sword style was pretty funny. It made me giggle. It made me smile. And it is added to understand why Tashigi feels more betrayed, because she gave him a chance and then, you know, Zoro quote-unquote lied to her when he's kind of right. She didn't ask. And then Sanji's mini arc is fun, but with a little hint from the person that I watched with, it's not possible to happen when you learn about added information, apparently. I don't remember if he had explained the added information. I just know that he told me that it wouldn't be possible, and I trust him because he is a very intelligent being, and he's pretty cool, and epic and cool, and he knows everything. He knows all. You should trust me on that one. Although, even if it's not possible, it was still a fun little Sanji arc. As a Sanji simp, I actually, I enjoyed myself watching it. It was entertaining to watch Sanji, cook. He sure knows how to cook, and I love a man who can cook. Now, here we are at our first entire DLC arc. An entire arc that was more than like 2 episodes long, because the buggy one I think was 1 or 2 episodes long. This is an entire arc. The Warship Island arc. Now, I didn't have personal issues with it. There were times where I literally bought a coloring book just so I could kind of... Because one thing I love, as no one really knows this, I want to draw, but I'm horrible at sketching and drawing, so I color a lot. I bought a coloring book, a cat coloring book, just to have something to use my colored pencils, my stash of colored pencils I never use. And I literally was just coloring in the coloring book during it because, I mean, it's a filler arc. It was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was there. And we had more character interactions with the East Blue 5 by themselves, and it instead of immediately going into the Alabasta arc and then getting our honorary member and Chopper and everything like that, which I think is really cool. In terms of spoilers that I shouldn't know about, but the person told me about, is it's interesting how Luffy can hear the dragon, because he can also hear Sea Kings in the future, apparently, which, honestly, if Oda was in charge of that in the filler arc, he's a genius. It was also the first of the series, so you know what, it made it all worth it. It made it all worth it in the end. Alright, so I'm a little silly and I forgot to do the outro, but I feel like that works out well. So, I don't know if you've noticed, this video is kind of bland with me using one of the available models that VTube Studio allows you to do for free. I am currently getting a model made. It is currently underway. I'm getting my own model made, but even then I highly doubt I'll be able to do much with it because I won't be able to stream, but I will be able to use it for videos like these. I do intend on doing a One Piece video for each of the sagas. I do have to make the Alabasta Saga one, but I might wait until later, maybe not, I am not sure. It will happen sometime. I'm just hoping that one day I can make these videos a little bit more entertaining visually. Due to me not having a PC and this laptop, despite it supposedly being good enough for video editing, I specifically bought this actually upgraded RAM PC for editing. The editing is being very slow, and Shotcut, which is what I'm using to edit, is basically on the verge of crashing every time I try and make any bigger edit than cutting out 2 seconds of audio. So for now, this is the best that I can do with these videos. I will try my best to try and at least power through, and maybe I'll make some 5-minute videos that have a lot of edits in it, just clips of me talking about things, I'm not sure. I will experiment and see what works best. So thank you so much if you've made it to this point. I really appreciate it, and I hope you did enjoy my little rantings and ravings on One Piece. There will be more. There will be a lot more. Maybe I'll make a dedicated Sanji video one day.